What's up, peeps? Tony Baker here, and it's time for another episode of Gross Pointe Bake. It's a show about the numbers, man. The movie grosses, the album sales, the TV ratings. We talking the numbers here. No emotion, no opinion. We want to know what movies made what albums sold this, that, and the third, man. We taking the opinion and biases out of it, and we just looking at butts in the seats, you know what I'm saying? Albums being bought. Y'all know I'm a numbers nerd. Like, I know movie box office grosses. I check every weekend. This is who I am. I check every weekend on the box office grosses. And so since sports is heating up again. I mean, sports has been out here. You know, you got the Grand Open, the U.S. Open going on, and football is coming back. Baseball is in full swing. You know, we waiting on the NBA. So we getting excited about sports again. So it got me to thinking, like, man, what were the top grossing sports dramas from like 1970 on up? What sports movies on the drama side were really putting butts in the seats, man? So I made that list. Now, I'm going to do a separate list that has the sports comedies on there. That'd be a totally different list. I wanted to see which sports dramas was reigning supreme. So let's get into it, man. Now, I got a couple asterisk picks in here, and y'all let me know. Shout out to my patron saints who are in here right now as we do this live. I want to know if y'all think certain movies should be included in this list. But here we go, man. Number 10. And mind you, this list is adjusted for inflation. So this list is adjusted for inflation, so we're just gonna get that out the way. No, we're not doing a separate list, and this is domestic gross. We're not doing a worldwide. Remember the Titans, number 10, came out in the year 2000. Adjusted for inflation, Remember the Titans made $200.8 million at the box office. It stars Denzel Washington as coach of a football team in racist times. You know, bringing these kids together under the clouds of racism, injustice, and football. The movie is a great movie. I remember watching it in theaters, and I was like, yo, this movie is really good. I'm enjoying the hell out of this movie. And it did good at the box office. At the time, it made over $100 million at the box office. If you inflate that today, we're looking at $200 million. It's one of Denzel Washington's biggest hits, and rightfully so. I enjoyed Remember the Titans. Matter of fact, I might be overdue to watch that mug again. You know, Coach wasn't playing, and it's Denzel. It's Denzel, man. We all in on whatever he talking about. I wish Denzel was my goddamn coach. If Denzel was my football coach, I'd have stayed in football. I'd have gave football more than just one school year, man. Number 9, The Karate Kid from 2010. The Karate Kid with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan. And I know he wasn't doing karate in the movie. I know. He was in China in this one. The Karate Kid from 2010 made the equivalent of $211.4 million at the box office. It was a big hit. It's a sport. And here's why. Don't y'all dare say martial arts is not a sport as well. Now, it can be just, for self-defense purposes, and it's personal to the person who learned it, but it's also a sport. And the reason the Karate Kid is included in this list is because the movie centers around a tournament, and the tournament was for sport. So, The Karate Kid is on this list. And absolutely, man, you know what I'm saying? Fighting is a sport. And in this case, it's definitely a sport. And The Karate Kid is number 9 on this list. Number 8, The Karate Kid from 1984. Definitely a sport, because the movie centers around Daniel winning in a sport tournament, and the sport is karate. So The Karate Kid, number 8, made $253.6 million. That's the inflated gross from 1984. It's sitting at $253.6 million. It was a huge hit, made $90 million at the time, which was a huge hit. It got Pat Morita an Oscar nomination as Mr. Miyagi, which in my opinion was well earned. And for those of y'all that are arguing that The Karate Kid from 2010 is not a sport movie, it's literally a tournament set up for people to compete. So it's absolutely a sport. If boxing is a sport, so is karate in the martial arts. So the OG Karate Kid from 1984 is on this list. Now the reason I don't have the Karate Kid 2 on this list is because there's no tournament. Karate by itself, I don't consider karate or the martial arts a sport, especially if you're just learning for defense and personal philosophy and just that you take the sport element out of it. But if there's a tournament, then okay. So the Karate Kid 2, since I just watched it, there was no tournament. There was no competition. There was no sport. They were fighting for their lives and they were fighting for honor. So I didn't include the Karate Kid Part 2 from 1986 on this list, but I had to include the first one because there was literally a tournament at the base of the film. So the Karate Kid, 1984, $253.6 million at the box office. Number 7, Flashdance. Flashdance, number 7. Now here's why I'm a little bit skeptical. Dance is a sport. Dance is a sport. So I included it on the list because the movie involves her dancing in a competitive atmosphere to get into this prestigious ballet school or whatever. So dance is a sport. Yes, dance is a sport. So I knew this was gonna be controversial, but it is. But if y'all want to take it off, y'all let me know. No, take it off. Take it off. All right, we taking it off, man. Y'all don't respect dance as a sport. Y'all wild for that. Dance is definitely a sport as well. So y'all wild for this. Y'all are wild for this. It's a sport, man. If y'all look up dance right now, it is considered a sport. Sabrina said, here's the definition. Dance is not just an art form, it is a sport. The definition of a sport, according to dictionary.com, is an activity involving physical exertion and skills in which an individual or team competes against another or others for entertainment. So wow. So dance is a sport. Flashdance stays. Y'all need to get out your feelings. Flashdance goddamn stays. So Flashdance made in 1983 made the equivalent of $276.4 million at the box office. Huge hit, huge soundtrack. And the movie centers around dance. The dance is in the title of the movie, so the movie centers around that. The dance is the whole crux of the whole thing. So boom, Flashdance, number 7, $276.4 million. Shout out to Sabrina with the definition. And what's funny, Sabrina sent the definition, and I looked up the definition when I made this list. I was like, is it a sport? It's a sport, right? I thought it was a sport, but I wanted to look it up because I knew y'all was gonna trip. Number 6, like Amir said, The Blind Side. The Blind Side came out in 2009. It made the equivalent of $312 million at the box office. $312 million. It was a huge hit. Sandra Bullock got an Oscar nomination for it. I'm not sure if she won for that or not. I think she won an Oscar for that movie. Even though the actor, the athlete that the movie is based on, didn't really agree with how they portrayed him in the movie. The movie was a huge hit. It centers around football. The movie made crazy money at the box office. They still in the group chat talking about dance and not being a sport. So is twerking a sport? Come on, y'all, don't do that. The Blind Side made crazy money, $312 million. It's about football, based on a true story. Loosely based, I guess, but based on a true story nonetheless. That's number 6. Number 5, Jerry Maguire. $317.9 million at the box office. Now, here's why I have an asterisk for Jerry Maguire. Is it a drama? Because there are a lot of different elements in Jerry Maguire. I look at Jerry Maguire as a drama with funny elements, and there's a romantic element in there too. So I feel like it is a drama, and it made me get emotional too. So I consider Jerry Maguire a drama, and it revolves around sports for sure. So yeah, so show me the money. Show me the money. Jerry Maguire made the equivalent of $317.9 million. That's inflated from the 1996 release. Made a lot of money at the box office. Really good movie. I really enjoyed that movie. A dramedy, if you will. So Jerry Maguire, number 5, with $317.9 million at the box office, inflated. Now, this is where the list is gonna get boring, y'all, because it's all from the same franchise, y'all. Number 4, Rocky II. Rocky II is actually tied with Jerry Maguire at $317.9 million inflated. That's from 1979 money. So Rocky II is number 4, tied with Jerry Maguire. Rocky II is the one where he fought Apollo Creed again. And movie was making money in the 70s, late 70s, man. That movie was making that dollar. And we all know Rocky revolves around the world of boxing. And y'all shouldn't be surprised that Rocky just showed up on this goddamn list, because Rocky is sports drama. Number 3, Rocky IV from 1985. It made the equivalent of $331.5 million at the box office. Rocky IV is the one where he fought the Russian, Dolph Lundgren. It was the saddest one. Drago. It was the saddest Rocky for me. You know, it was the one Apollo Creed died. That shit was hard hitting. And up until like Creed, I think Rocky IV was my favorite Rocky. I think Rocky IV is my favorite Rocky. But it made the equivalent of $331.5 million at the box office. That's a lot of goddamn bread, man. Came out in 1985. Number 2, Rocky III from 1982. Rocky III made the equivalent of $398.3 million at the box office. Rocky III is when he fought Mr. T, Clubber Lang, and I feel like Clubber Lang was the best Rocky villain in the series, because Apollo Creed, you liked him. You know, he wasn't a true villain. Clubber Lang wasn't even a true villain either, in my opinion, but he was the most stark adversary to Rocky. Like he was pulling no punches. He was going at Rocky. It was like, yo, I'm not trying to be cool. I'm not trying to be none of that. I'm not trying to be your friend later on. He was a clear-cut Rocky adversary, and Mr. T delivered on all fronts in that one. It made $398.3 million, inflated from the 1982. So Rocky III made big money, made a huge star to Mr. T. Mr. T was everywhere after Rocky III. Even Hulk Hogan was in that thing. And number 1, as y'all probably already guessed, you probably already know, Rocky, the original Rocky from 1976. Made the equivalent of $515 million at the U.S. box office. That's inflated. Rocky made the equivalent of $515 million at the box office. That's a lot of goddamn money, man. It made over $100 million in 1976. It's highly regarded as one of the best films, probably one of the best films ever made in terms of story, impact. It created, as you can see, a lucrative franchise. And, you know, Rocky Balboa is one of the greatest movie characters of all time. In my opinion, I feel like Rocky Balboa is one of the greatest movie characters of all time. Even when I watch Rocky, I don't really see Sylvester Stallone. Like, when I look at other Sylvester movies, none of those characters feel like Rocky Balboa. Like, none of them. Like, Rocky Balboa is he's so humble and just like a real dude, and just like, you know, his character really stands out. And it's just like, man, and he was able to carry that character all the way through into the 2000s, and to make Creed a success. He's a huge part of the whole thing. And it's just like, yo, Rocky is one of the best movie franchises around. Even if you take in The weak ass Rocky 5 when he fought Tommy Gunn. That's the weakest one, but it was still watchable. It was still just like, yo, I'm all in. That's on the strength of just Rocky and what they was able to create just from this little movie that could. And Rocky, yeah, you be feeling sorry for Rocky. You just be like, man, this dude's a real human being. And it's just like, so shout out to Sylvester Stallone for creating a character that is responsible for the highest grossing sports dramas of all time so far. And Creed 1 and 2 were also box office successes too in their own right. So it was just like, he was nominated for an Oscar. I think he got an Oscar for the original Rocky. And I'm not sure if he got it for writing or what. I'm not entirely sure. I think he got it for writing Rocky. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that. But that's the list. I know Flashdance is controversial, but y'all just, it is what it is, goddammit. And side note, I've never seen Flashdance. Never seen it. But I know Jennifer Beals is in it. You know what I'm talking about? You feel me? Let me know. What's your favorite movie from this list? Let me know in the comment section below. And are you surprised that Rocky was the complete total top 4 of this whole list? Are you surprised? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, I want to know your favorite Rocky movie. And also, let me know in the comment section below, do you think Flashdance should be on the list? Since it got all the feathers ruffled, let's just go with that. And I did a poll. One has to go vocally. Just on vocals alone, not entire, career and all that. Just vocals alone. One has to go. Beyonce, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, Adele. In the poll, 56% of the people say Adele. Followed by Beyonce with 32%. Followed by Whitney Houston with 7%. Mariah Carey at 5%. So y'all let me know. Let me know all of that in the comment section below, man. I appreciate y'all, and I'm all ears on ideas for future episodes of Gross Pointe Bake. We talking movie box office grosses, album sales, TV ratings, and we getting it like that, man. Thank you for tuning in.